What? Welcome back to another Jackrabbit Illustrated podcast, brought to you by our title sponsor, the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. Whether it's tractors, mowers, utility vehicles, construction, or farm equipment, Kubota's got you covered. Now with 9 locations across the state of South Dakota, there's always a dealer nearby. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Jackrabbit podcasts are also sponsored by Culver's of Brookings in Watertown, the home of the Butterburger, Jackrabbit Central, the best place to get your Jacks gear, and the best sports bar in South Dakota, Cubby Sports Bar and Grill. Without further ado, here is the A-Team.
And welcome back to the Jackrabbit Illustrated podcast. We are here to celebrate the 10-0 Jackrabbits of South Dakota State.
We are on our A game.
This is the
I clicked the
A-Team.
button once, it pulled up the right video for a hot second, and then all of a sudden we're on screen. It started, and then I'm sorry, everybody.
I don't know. We're glad you're here. We are the pre-show for the FFN bracket show that's coming up here at 8 o'clock. So we'll be sure to be wrapped up by 8 so you can get over to that. But man, we are joined today by Alex Kenkel, who has joined us this season, obviously. Hopefully everyone's loving his stuff. Yeah, him and his computer. Alex, how the heck you doing?
Good. Great to be invited and join the quote-unquote professionals today.
The profession, that's us. So like it's just always so weird, like A-Team Chad versus then a night later B-Team Chad, which is,
I am
off
different,
the rails.
aren't I?
So yeah.
Hey, this show has more of a nuts and bolts approach, and it's more of guys sitting around drinking a beer, having a chat on the other one.
Hey,
and they like to make fun of me, which you're nice and you don't do that. So
no, I'm like your cheerleader, Chad. You try to be mean to yourself on this show, and I say no, Chad. We don't do that.
I'm just
here.
honest,
Yeah. So, Chad, how the heck you doing? You had a busy day yesterday. You want to tell the good folks what you did?
Yeah, we poured concrete in my shop, and that was an expensive day. And we ended up a little short on concrete, so we ended up having to grab a bunch of landscaping rocks to offset the concrete that was missed because it's a long story. Anyway, so I got a lot of rocks in my concrete, which isn't necessarily advised, but it's how we poured it down on the farm for years. So we're good to go.
Perfect. Make do with what you got.
Yeah.
So, all right.
How you doing, sir?
So I'm good. Yeah. So we ventured south to the big city yesterday, and Kelsey dropped me off at Brendan's house, and I got to watch the Jacks game there, and with him and Thomas, and we had pizza, and she went shopping in Sioux Falls and did Christmas stuff, and so it was wonderful. Cool. And then came back in time for the diaper keg, and then we were there for a couple hours, and then headed north again. So yeah, I got to put the kids to bed. So that 11 o'clock kickoff was weird, but I kind of liked it. Got on with my day after that. So it was weird, though. What'd you guys think?
We were supposed to be a full hour into our concrete placing, but the Hutterites didn't show up till about 10 minutes before the game. So I was like, But Brendan, man, he's got a heck of a setup there in the basement, huh? How'd you like that?
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, it was fun. Ben did show up for a little while in the second half and immediately started complaining about the setup, but I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, so this game 34-0, right? I was wrong. I admitted it in rants and raves on the first thing. I apologize. This Youngstown State offense is really good, and it just shows how great our defense is. I mean, unbelievable. Alex, what was your takeaway from it?
No, I think you hit it on the head. I actually had to watch it back last night after being in Vermilion to officiate a middle school robotics competition all day. Little different than doing high school football and wrestling, but anyhow, yeah, I was really impressed with our defense. I was kind of along the same thinking as you, Matt. I really thought we'll give up 20 points or so, but our offense will move the ball and keep it efficient. And our offense moved the ball efficiently, but our defense said, no, we're going to make you earn every blade of grass out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Matt was pointing out in our preview show for this game, I guess, they have so many playmakers that are usually making plays, and our defense, like Alex is pointing out, just said, nah, yeah, not today. So, I mean, they still got some yards. We had some ill-advised penalties, especially once the twos came out of there. I mean, they got two personal fouls that were kind of they're kind of strange. I'm not really pointing fingers, being mad about it, but it happened. They got a bunch of yardage just on that in the second half.
Yep. Alex, speaking of the officiating, can you tell us what you talked about in our group chat about the Graham Goring illegal pick play? Like, how reviewable?
Because it was on a touchdown, right? But they didn't throw the flag?
So that's why it was reviewable. As I understood, I asked some of my buddies that work college. Disclaimer, I do not work college. I only work high school. But I know several guys that work college. And just from talking to them, because it was initially thrown and waved off, because they ruled that Amar caught the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage. So as part of the scoring review, they can review that. They reviewed, no, he was 2 yards downfield, which he was. So then they were able to reinforce the penalty. That's a little bit coaching there, and I don't want to take away from Graham because Graham's had a hell of a year and some really limited opportunities. But that's just if he sells that a little bit better, that's probably not a flag. Because he literally ran over the linebacker and just stopped right in front of him and let the linebacker run in. Like, yeah, you can't do that, dude.
Okay, fair enough. It just watching that ref crew. I said this in Rants and Raves. I don't know what was going on, but everything seemed more complicated than it needed to be yesterday.
Like I said in our group chat, they rest in peace, Buck Timmons, longtime South Dakota officials coordinator. That was something he always preached was MIB, make it big, make it clear and obvious. If you're going to throw a flag, people aren't asking why you threw the flag. And I don't want to denigrate my fellow officials too bad, but it did not seem like they abided by that rule yesterday. It was, if that could maybe be a flag, we're going to have a flag on that play.
Sure.
Yeah, and that recalled touchdown, that was, I mean, did they drop a flag? Because it didn't look like they did.
That was on a review, so that was
right. But you think
just
they
a late
throw the
buzz
flag, right?
Well, the back judge is in charge of killing that, and I have been in that situation before. You have a pre-snap foul, and that's part of good officiating. You don't have your whistle in your mouth because that's how you have an inadvertent whistle. Then you see something and you do one of these trying to grab your whistle, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and that's what happened there because we've all been there. I had a friend text me, I don't know if I didn't watch state title games. They're like, did you see that guy in the Pier game tackle the kid? How embarrassed would you be if you did that? I said, yeah, I've definitely never done that. I explained, I have. It just wasn't in a championship game or on TV. So
yeah. Well,
that play shouldn't have happened. I guess it just shouldn't have even got.
Yeah, right. Yeah. To the game a little bit. Something that I think we all talked about and recognized is that there was going to be opportunities for the passing offense to really go. And when I was driving down the interstate, listening to Tyler Merriam talk about some of the pregame lineup stuff, Jackson being out was kind of a surprise. Marcus Preston being out, a bit of a surprise. But Mark still connected with Jaden, Graham Goring, Griffin frickin' Wilde. Right? That's for Dallas, who can't be here tonight. But Mark still finished 19 for 28. Yeah, right? 295 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, Mark, have a day, buddy. Wow.
And our tight ends had 5 catches. We've all been complaining where are the tight ends at. Our tight ends had 5 catches. It was awesome.
Dude, that no-look pass by Chase Mason towards the end of the game to Kevin Brenner. What kind of witchcraft was that?
Right.
Right.
and if you look,
Mahomes.
Yeah, right. And they said they had mentioned that. If you look too, there was a second guy in the same line of fire. If he didn't catch it right behind him, I was like, wow, he really knows where them guys are at. That was just crazy.
Yeah, that was impressive hands from Kevin Brenner too.
Yeah,
So
nice tag.
yeah,
Hold that one
hey,
in.
but
Welcome,
Jaden,
Kevin.
I mean, so Alex, you saw this on the blog. I got grief a couple weeks ago for not knowing who the Wildies were or have never
The
heard of them
Yankees.
at the
Yeah,
wide receiver
never
or the
heard of the
Yankees. Thank you.
Yankees.
The Yankees, yeah. And since that time, they have been showing out. They've had a great season. Jaden, especially since he missed the non-conference portion, has just been explosive, and you're seeing that strength. I mean, they're just awesome.
Was that
He's
you and
average.
Ranson? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chad.
No, that's fine. I was just gonna point out. I think he's averaging what a ton a game, right? So
Yeah.
6 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Was
Mm-hmm.
that you, or was it in Zimmer's write up today, Matt, where they said, Jaden, just based upon this non-conference, or excuse me, even with missing the non-conference slate, he's been so big that he probably will still be all Valley consideration, even
Yeah,
missing 3
that's
games.
what I think. Yeah, I mean, it's just nuts. So, and back to the tight end stuff. John Colley here. I'm so happy Zach Lujan has been watching the podcast and decided to start throwing to the tight ends. Tyler Merriam, I know you sometimes listen to some of these as well. Thanks for always asking Jimmy about it too. Because gosh, it's funny because
He did.
just
He
how
did
you asked,
this last week, right?
Hey guys, breaking news right here. Sammy Dressy, I think is how you pronounce it, the wide receiver from Kansas, just committed to the Jacks just now.
Awesome.
Boom. So if you
Yay,
watch
go
his highlight
Jacks.
tape on Huddle, he looks like a Yankee out there. Big, strong, physical, fast. Heck yeah. Big commitment here. I'm going to step off to retweet this. You guys talk.
All right. Cool.
What else? What else do you see yesterday, Chad?
Well, I didn't get a chance to watch it till just a few moments ago. Actually, I've been busy, but we just made them look pedestrian at pretty much every level. The only real success I saw them have was when they went into that hurry up and they and they dinked and dunked on the passes. And traditionally, that's something that's hard to stop, right? I mean, it just is 5-yard slants, so forth. I think that's something that our defense could work on and is going to need to work on for this next game. Watching the Missouri State game versus UNI, they like to do a lot of those short passes like that. And if you don't get them right away, then they turn those into yards after catch, sometimes touchdowns, so you got to play really solid and really limit that. I don't know. That's kind of one of my takeaways. Hunter Dustman had a pretty good day. It's too bad he missed that 47-yarder there. He had a real nice punt. Griffin Wilde's good at everything he does on the football field. Pretty much.
It's going to be so good for years.
Oh yeah. Well, he's going to be done quicker than most because he started out and unless he gets a redshirt year somehow, hopefully he doesn't end up injured. That'd be about the only way at this point, right? So,
well, he still had 3 left though.
Yeah, right. But he'll be young compared to a lot of guys mature that first redshirt freshman year. So.
Right.
But yeah, he's a total stud, and you can't stop that guy.
I was gonna say, you got Ron's coming up here, but Josh Hoffman and Emery Gunderson in the chat here. They're talking about Zay getting a lot of carries yesterday, and where was Amar? I think that was kind of just a game flow thing where Isaiah was running through arm tackles left and right. He had that big third down where he was stopped 2 yards short, kept his legs moving, little help with McCormick. Boom, it's a 7-yard play. And I think that was more of, we had a very pass-heavy game plan compared to games past. Mark had 30 attempts. I want to say by far as most this year. And like I said, when we were running the ball, just feed the hot hand. Isaiah Davis, when he is feeling it, he's hard to stop.
Yeah. And just, I mean, gosh, that group came in with 29 sacks, right? And we'll talk about this in a second. But the 605 Hogs had a day. They were great.
They did. Hey, look,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, yep. 0 sacks. Dylan Woodkey did have 3 pressures. But gosh, they shut down that offense and nearly doubled their rushing total that they're allowing per game too. So heck of performance by the 605 Hogs. Good job, guys. Okay, let's talk about this because people keep bringing up quotes from this. All right. We've all been 22 and stupid, guys, however old he is. And listening to his full press conference, I'd be more upset if I was his coach about some of the second guessing on coaching decisions. But again, we've all been 22 and stupid. He's amped up on adrenaline. He's probably a little bit pissed off, right? I get what he's saying, that we're talented players too. We're on scholarship too. We have good size, strength, whatever. It's just how he said it, right? It wasn't the perfect way of saying it. So I don't know. I don't take it as much of a big deal as some people have. But again, Jordan, this is a lie. I knew Jordan when he was 22. Lie.
I think I met him probably back then too. There was a lot of this going on out on the field, and it seemed to me to be predicated on something said to our guys clapping back. Maybe that's bias, but our guys had a little bit of it in them too. When guys got, our running back got pushed out of bounds and Gus Miller come over and got in that guy's face on the sideline. It's like, you ain't going to do that to Zay when he tried to do that stiff arm. There was a lot of edge on that field yesterday from our guys too.
Yeah, but Youngstown, I feel like this started in the spring season. They talked a lot of smack back in the spring too. So I don't know.
I hate to put it that way because I do think Phillips is a good coach, but it feels like a Phillips thing where he's, some teams benefit off that. Some teams are good when they're playing with a little swagger, being a little chirpy. Hell, our guys do that a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's, you got to back it up at the end of the day.
Yep. All right. And this has been something too. Kevin's bringing this up. The Penguin walks. Yes or no? What do we think?
I thought it was kind of funny. Also, we can do without it. I don't know.
It was pretty innocuous to me. It was whatever. They're kids having fun. I don't really get it. Maybe I'm getting that old already, but
yeah, I can go with Jim's act like you've been there before too. It's a business trip. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's what my mom said too. She's like, it was kind of like, so. But I thought it was fine. I thought it was funny. It's no different than the efficient, right? With Stone stuff.
Yeah, right. But I guess the old people in the group were old fuddy daddies and we're like, do without it. And the kids these days, they want to have fun. Like,
yeah, right.
How dare them?
And just think, you know what? Like, this team this year is so laser focused on like the big prize. And the whole 1-0 mantra, but they're dialed in on everything they have to do. Let them have a little bit of fun. Like this isn't hurting anyone. So
who would ever have fun playing a football game?
It wasn't really that disrespectful. Sorry, Alex.
No,
you're good.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk. I just want to talk just a little bit about some specific players on defense to me that have stood out. Mentioned the Florida boys in the Rants and Raves. Matt Durant's right now is just playing great at safety. And I'm so happy for him because he has just battled injuries since he got in Brookings. And we talked to him last year at the scholarship banquet, Chad, and he just, you could tell like was feeling better. And it's taken him a little bit to get going this year, but man, now that he's going, she's 6'3", what is he? 210, 220. And they keep saying he's like the fastest guy on defense. So that's pretty cool. Love to see him getting in there. Same with Brian Williams and Zach Wilson on the defensive line. Midco did a cool story on them.
Yeah, that was
as being middle school teammates and high school teammates. And then the last 2 weeks, a player that's really flashed, and he got a sack this week, is Aaron Wolfgale Holston. He had a nice pressure last week against Cam. He didn't finish the sack, but he did this week. And if he can get that interior push on pass rushing plays, I really like him. So
he finished that one kind of late too, right?
Did he?
That was him on that. Yeah, you got the penalty there.
Oh, I thought that was Dawson.
Oh, maybe it was. What number is Dawson?
99.
Oh, I guess it was Dawson. My bad. They said Wolfgale Holstein on the, and I didn't double check the number.
Yeah.
So
he's like 55 or something, isn't he?
Yeah, okay.
Wolfgale Holston. Yeah. So those are just some players I want to talk about on defense. You guys got anyone you want to shout out?
I mean, number 11 continues to be the man and be all over the field. Like, he's awesome.
Yeah, he flies around. Tucker Large, that interception.
Yeah, that was a good
I was
interception.
gonna say,
Jump that route.
Large and Beanham in the secondary, especially those fast receivers. There was, I don't remember if the hold was on Beanham or someone else, but either way, there was a play, post route. We must have been cover 2, cover 3, whatever. Cover 2 wouldn't make sense. Anyhow, Beanham's carrying the guy down the secondary, and he's beat. And Davidson throws a decent ball, but just that time it's hanging in the air. Dallas comes up, knocks it out. And it seems like he has like 2 of those a week where he just Johnny on the spot makes a huge play in the secondary.
Yeah, he dang near had that one interception, and like you said, that one that got called back. I do believe on the radio call, Tyler had said that it was somebody away from the ball that had. Yeah, it was the hold. Sure. So I was about knee deep in concrete at the point, but I remember that
one. Fun performance all the way around. Dustman's punting, insane again, 53-yard average. I mean, he's just having a terrific season. And I don't know if he'll get the credit. If he'll be all conference punter because Missouri State's punter is really good. And he's won it now a number of years, been All-American a number of years. So I doubt if Hunter gets the recognition over him, but he's going to be right up there, or at least he should be. So.
Yeah, Burkett's a heck of a punter, and he's a weapon. So that's something we're going to face in the next game.
Yep. Oh man, everyone's really going on about this Penguin stuff. Jeepers.
Yeah, people are mad. People are mad about Jaden running down the goal line at that.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. I get that, Todd. I get that.
Well.
Yeah,
I don't know. It takes more time off the board. It's not actually a bad strategy if you stand there with the ball and then poke it across.
Just don't be like the Washington kid.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was.
They're so lucky they won that game, but we don't talk FBS on this show. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, we talk everything.
It's okay. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So otherwise,
they got ties to South Dakota.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's review game balls here. Chad, you picked Jaden. I picked Mark. Yep. Jim Poppin was our guest picker, and he picked GF Dub. All 3 are great choices, but I did give the game ball to Mark for his performance. He was so good yesterday. I don't know.
But you also gave a game ball to GFW.
I did. That's true. I did. The special teams game ball, that kick return.
So that's like giving a game ball to a position group almost.
Who would ever do that?
Yeah, could I give it to Hunter every single week? That's my only choice.
It'd be hard to do. That's true. That's true. I just had to give you a hard time.
All right. Defensively, Chad, you picked Trevere. I picked Deshaun, and Jim picked the law firm, Graham Spalding. So, and I ended up giving the game ball to the secondary. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So
Dyshon had a pretty good game. Out of 3 of those, probably the best.
He's to that point where he's almost prime Darrell Revis, where his games don't show up on the stat sheet because they just do not throw the ball at him.
Yeah, he was making tackles from the far side of the field too. So, jeez.
Yep. That's what I was trying to figure out. But haven't rewatched it. Today was too nice to be inside for me rewatching. Was someone shadowing Oliver, or were they just letting Dyshon have one side and Dallas the other?
Sides like they normally do.
Yeah. I just can't believe we held him to 3 receptions for 21 yards.
Right.
So that's just nuts. It's good job, guys. Score predictions. None of us were even close, so we're not going to go over that. So.
Well, you just had us all thinking they were going to score all these points, Matt. So we were going to run with it.
They were going to. Yeah, I was wrong. I've said that.
And we don't want to make bulletin board material and say our guys are going to blank their asses.
Exactly.
If that's what you're coming to this program for, it's never going to happen. So
yeah, we don't do that here.
Not even if we're playing Western Illinois.
Yeah. So the recap of Youngstown State was brought to you by the Kubota dealers of South Dakota with 9 locations. What did Matt do with his Kubota today? I taught my son how to drive the Kubota outside.
Nice.
So that's probably illegal, but we shifted it way low and just kind of drove around the yard. He had fun with it, moved the seat up. Again, super convenient, super easy to use. He was having a blast. Probably next weekend, we may get the snowblower hooked up. We'll see. So,
Yeah, don't jinx
just getting
us
ready
like
for winter.
that.
Yeah, right.
And how is
I'm
it
ready.
illegal? That's a rite of passage driving the lawn tractor with your father
I
and
know.
grandfather.
Yeah, right.
Like,
So
it's not illegal.
If I'm
yeah,
on
he
my
had a
property
blast.
line, the state and federal government don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, well,
there we go.
I wish that was true.
I know.
Yeah, right. All right. So thank you, Kubota. Let them hook you up with what you need. Our game balls, they're kind of our game ball review presented by Jackrabbit Central. I'm excited to get back. One last game to get down there, go shopping next week at the stadium store. Probably take my son in, just see if he wants anything else for Christmas, and take note of that. Send pictures to my wife so she can order it. Make sure it's part of their Christmas presents if that's something he wants. So. Alex, you picked up anything good for the kids or even yourself, Jackrabbit Central, lately?
Yeah, so, kind of, we take, as you guys know about, I don't know if the audience knows, I've talked about the other show, we take our nearly 2-year-old to every game with us, my wife and I do. And so dad gets way too into the game, as my wife can attest. So mom ends up corralling Claire a little bit, and that's a good way to burn off some energies, go walk around in there. And it's only cost us 2 t-shirts and a stuffed Jack so far, but Claire, we got a stuffed Elmo from the Halloween witch, so he's kind of taken over Jack's spot a little bit. But for weeks and weeks there, Jack was Claire's preferred stuffy to go to bed with at night. So
Awesome.
Right on.
Awesome. All right, let's dive into Missouri State, guys. So Alex, you have been on Jordan Pachot, right? Am I saying that
he's
right?
playing well.
Yeah, you've been on him for a number of weeks. What do you like about him?
Jacob Clark, who was the starter and got hurt, was, I want to say 5th-year guy. I could be wrong because I don't have it right up in front of me, but leader guy, kind of stuck around, didn't hit the portal when they went and out and got Shelley, stayed with the program, and he just, went about things the right way. But so does Pachot, and he's younger. I want to say he's a sophomore, and he just goes through his progressions really well. He's really always in tune to the game when I watch their games, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I mean, some characteristic of a young quarterback, sure, but they also, as we'll get into here, it's almost like watching vintage 2004 Texas Tech Mike Leach offense. The way Petrino's running that offense right now is, instead of rushing the football, they will throw a 4-yard pass. And that's just what they do. And
we may even see more of that this week with Jacardier Wright out too. So that's going to be interesting.
They're both listed on their site as juniors, just FYI.
Oh, for what it's worth. Yeah. Like I said, don't take my word for it because I'm not looking at it. But anyhow, I still have liked how he's played this year.
Yep. And he has, so this is going to be a big chance for our secondary to maybe add to that interception total and lead the FCS again, though, because he has tossed 9 picks.
Thrown some. Yeah.
He's thrown some. And he's kind of a gunslinger from what I've seen about him. So trust his arm a lot right now. And he has learned to make cool too. So yeah,
they like to throw the ball a lot. And with you told me right before this that Wright's out, right?
Yeah. Yep. Some sort of elbow injury or something.
Yeah.
I guess it was a pretty gruesome arm injury. I didn't see it, but
I didn't catch that either. He looked great in the first half of their game and, was really running all over the place. I think we see the pass even more. They're going to have to rely on it more. So hopefully we can get home a few times. I'd like to see sacks. Chain gang.
Yeah.
At least pressures,
So they have a very fun small receiver, Raylan Sharp, 5'9", 172. And he had, 15 catches or 13 receptions against North Dakota State, and then 11 last week against UNI. So he has like 65 on the season. just a really a little jitterbug type of player that can make the run after catch on the short routes, but then he gets deep too, which you don't expect from like a 5'9" cat. So kind of a fun guy that's going to be different than what we've been facing. We've been facing some, more moderate sized, bigger wide receivers lately. That is not him. So we'll see.
Yeah, Alex and I were talking about that just a little bit while you stepped away for a second, but they do like to dink and dunk, those throwing it into the flats and stuff. So that's something that we're really going to have to try and make sure that we're tackling well. I did see that we had some good tackling, but there was points in the game yesterday where tackling was still an issue for the Jacks, it seemed like to me. So I don't know if you saw that at all. Yeah, we got to wrap up. We can't just hit guys hard and expect them to stay, fall down. So,
yeah. I don't know. This team, it's a fun offense. It's not a good defense. That's why I'm so interested. I am excited to go back and watch this UNI Missouri State game because they just completely shut them down. So, yeah. Who are we talking about, KP? Quarterback went out.
Are you talking about the quarterback for
the
Bears?
I didn't see that they didn't have anyone else attempt to pass. I was just looking that up when Kevin put that in there in the box score from yesterday, and they didn't have any other quarterbacks in there.
Unless it was really at the end of the game, maybe.
What's the spread going to be?
Yeah, I bet it's right in that 12.5 to 14. Oh, somewhere. I know that's a lot of difference. You think it's higher?
I think
I'm
it's
not
like
talking
21.
over under. I'm just talking spread. But
am I allowed to say, or we save that for Wednesdays?
You can do whatever you want, but just know that you might offend Ben and Brendan.
We'll save that for Wednesday. And just a little teaser there so people do turn into the Wednesday show.
I'm saying 21.5. Huh. Hit on sideline. Really? Huh. Interesting. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah. Kevin says he was hit on the sideline towards the end of the game. We'll have to check that out.
Thanks for the shout out on your show too, by the way. Appreciate that.
Yes. That was check out Kevin and Stone stuff too if you get a chance on Fridays.
Yeah,
and got good info.
And if you haven't been listening already, our guys winning the competition for Alex's lemonade stand. So
yes,
go ahead and donate. Go donate for Brian.
Williams. It's one of the Florida man.
No, it is right. But Wilson's stuck in my head, and I knew that was wrong, and I couldn't get past it. So thank you, Brian Williams, leading. He's close to his $2,000 goal. If you want, just Google FCS Nation Radio, Alex Lemonade Stand. There's a way to donate online, and that'd be great. So,
yeah, thanks everyone that has donated already too.
Yes,
that's great.
Also, thank you. Seth Meyer thinks the spread's going to be 20 at least. So,
okay. All right. Do we want to do predictions on this? I don't have much more to say. I've watched a half of Missouri State this year when they played NDSU.
I mean, they're going to throw everything they can at us, right? At this point in the year,
they want to be spoilers. Yeah.
So it's a dangerous game from that respect, but we kind of said the same thing about Youngstown State, right? And Mark had a day. I know he didn't get the game ball, but Mark had a day. And what happened last time we played Missouri State? Mark had a day. Mark had a day. So did Zach Hines, by the way. So I'd love to see a return to, hey, the 5th team in the nation's coming. That I know it's at home, but like that result, where we just lay it down on them. I think I like Jacks in the 34-10 range. Our defense is stingy. They don't get all the statistical. I mean, they're high on every category, but are they leading in any single category? I don't think so, because they're just good across the board.
Points and efficiency, the two that matter the most.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. Then I'm going to do you just a little better here. 37-13.
Okay.
Field goal more for each. Yep. All right. Alex will probably wait on your prediction, but do you want to do game ball prediction, I guess?
Yeah, I can certainly
Okay,
do game ball.
so Chad, you said Mark,
for Wednesday.
right?
Yeah, I think Mark on offense, on
Okay.
defense. It's got to be our secondary. Someone out there. I'm gonna go with Beanham, number 7.
Dang
He
it.
just has a nose for a ball.
He stole mine
Sorry.
too.
Yeah. Hey, we can all agree it's not as compelling of discussion, but we can all agree.
Yep. All right. Well, let's do that then. I like that. Let's all do Dallas. I like that. We've never done that before. All right, Alex, you're a guest. Who do you want for offense here?
It won't be because we'll have at least one, if not several, hopefully home playoff games. But last regular season game, probably for number 22, Missouri State gives up 180 yards a game on the ground.
Ooh.
Only thing that's going to keep him from hitting 200 is that we're going to be up big and they're going to take his helmet away from him.
Yeah.
That's going to be why.
Yep.
Hey, I mean, he had a heck of a day kind of quietly this last week, right?
Right.
I mean,
you have like 130.
Yeah, exactly.
130,
Quiet
132, something like that.
Yeah. So for all those reasons, and because I think he looks really good right now, I'm going with Angel as my player of the game, Angel Johnson, because I think, we're going to get up. They're just going to put Isaiah on mothballs, Mark on mothballs. And I don't know where Amar's at right now, like if he did get hurt or not. So that's what I'm wondering. If he was dinged up, if he's dinged up at all, they're going to sit him this game. So Angel's the number 2 back and going to get carries early anyways. But yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. We had a question about can the Jacks lose the number 1 seed to the winner of the Brawl of the Wild?
If they
I don't
lose
think
this
so.
game, maybe. But if they win this game, there's no way.
Yeah, if they win, there's no way, really. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And who do we think's going to win that game since we're talking about it? Because, we've had this team in Montana State that we all thought was a clear far and away number 2. Then what happens. We got Montana State that can't fight their way out of a brown paper bag to start the year, then become world beaters shortly thereafter with the change at quarterback. They got a good defense. I don't know. I think my money's on Montana as much as I don't want to say that. I'd like to see the Cats win, but Montana's been hotter right now. Thoughts?
And they got boat race last year in Bozeman. So I feel like there's going to be a revenge factor there. Yeah, embarrassed. That's exactly the right word. So
yeah, Jim Poppins got a good point. It's at home for them too. That's worth. I don't know what the home field advantage is worth typically. Alex, you're the statistician.
Well, that stadium's nuts. That stadium's probably a touchdown.
Right, it might be.
2.5 is the national average, so I'd say you can give Wagriz almost 4.
I was gonna say 3 is normally what I thought it was, but I didn't know if that was for basketball. So so right there, they're playing with a little house money in that regard.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, are you going to be there? Ron, I'm assuming you're going to be there, right? So I'm going to change mine just because I want to support Ron here, and I'm going with the Cats. So this one's for you, Ron. I'm taking the Cats.
Like I said, I'd like to see him win.
I'm pretty sure we're going to pick that on Wednesday's show, I assume. So I will preclude myself from that one too.
What would Dallas
pick?
Pick?
Bottle quick. Yeah. What would Dallas pick? Yeah.
D lineman. Missoula's got the better D line. Dallas is going to take the Grizz.
All right, I like it.
Yeah. Hey, so let's transition just a little bit into what the Fans Nation guys are going to be talking about. The FCS, Fans Nation guys are going to be talking about here at 8. The playoff scenario. So I sent a picture today to our group of a whiteboard that I'd kind of thrown together with who I think was going to be the auto bids, who was going to be that largest. We're not going to pull it up because it's embarrassing because I don't like. I had a headache. It looked
pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I looked at this for an hour, and in that hour, I was going back and forth, just erasing with my finger, and then I send it to these guys, and immediately Alex is like, "Oh, Tarleton's not eligible. Sorry.
Right.
So I spent all of this time on it. And I mean, I know there's guys on the Facebook group, right, that do this for fun every week. Like
every week.
And actually bracket it out. I didn't even bracket it out. Man, what a headache. I can't imagine.
Alex does the Redshirt Sports top 25, right? And we I know last year I contributed on the top 25, but this year I didn't start off early because I thought, well, it's just too early to tell. And then it got going and I was like, man, I just don't feel like I know enough about these teams this year to contribute. So I haven't been doing that. But yeah, it's nuts. Brendan's real good at it. Obviously Jamie's fantastic. He just loves to do it.
I've told you guys, but for the viewers, I'm so jealous of Matt and Kyler and Rev and Jamie because I've always kind of known how the playoff selection process worked, but listening to Herder's interview with Haslam, you're probably too late now. You got 20 minutes to listen to a 40-minute interview, unless you listen times 2 on Spotify. But that process, I'll put it this way: if anyone else listen to that, I have never been more sure that we probably get the right 24 teams in there every year. I really think we do after listening to Herder and Haslam talk.
You mean except for last year?
Well, no, we got the right teams in. I am less confident than ever that the bracket is built the way it's supposed to. So it's
so you don't feel like Montana paid for a seed last year and North Dakota got held out?
You mean a home game?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So Herder asked Haslam on that point blank, and
I missed that episode.
He completely dodged the Montana State because those that don't know, Haslam is the Montana AD, the playoff committee chair. But as far as the UND part where they had a 3 times bid, he said, well, Weber was within a couple votes of being our 8 seed, so they were our theoretical 9 seed. He said, and UND was one of our last teams in, so we didn't feel like it was fair to send Weber to Grand Forks. Okay, but that's not really what your guidelines say. So like I said, I'm very confident the 24 teams we're going to have when we're talking about this time next week, it's going to be the right 24 teams. Will the bracket be set up how it's supposed to be? I'll plead the 5th on that one. And that was my takeaway from that Herder and Haslam interview.
And I think there's been a really fun debate on Twitter today that I didn't necessarily mean to start with the Valley teams, the middle tier Valley teams, and where they are at in all of this, and how they're going to fit in to the at-large picture, but also that 7 and 8 spot, for the seeds. Who's going to get those? Is it going to be a Delaware? Is it going to be an NDSU? Is it going to be Austin P, who I don't think should. Like, Austin P got smoked early in the season by SIU, and SIU's offense has disappeared, obviously. But, North Carolina Central, right? That's a whole new wrinkle now.
Be a seeded playoff team now. That's a whole other can of worms. But
yeah, if they don't, because they won't be going to the Celebration Bowl, right?
I'm curious to see. I haven't run the numbers on that game, but I'm curious to see if Howard is favored in that game or not.
Yep. And for everyone that's not paying attention, Drake is likely going to win the Pioneer League. So, that
we beat another playoff team.
Flip. Coin.
You really want that coin flip, man.
It's got to be broadcast live to know that it's honest, though.
Yeah. Rabbit says Holy Cross lost to Army. Holy Cross let me down this year. I talked them up as a for real team in like week 4. And again, I was wrong. I thought that offensive line and Matthew Sluka were going to be great, and they are. They just have no defense. They lost everyone on defense.
Disappeared.
So.
Except for that one stop at the goal line yesterday. Did you see that?
The pop. Yeah, that pop on that Army.
Yeah, that was a man. That was a man hit. Yeah, even without the Ginger Jesus, even when they did have Ginger Jesus, they lost a couple of the games they shouldn't have there. So
yeah,
I've still never gotten an explanation of the Flappy Bird, but
no, I don't know. But two games that I think are going to be deciding the spot. UND and Illinois State. I think that's potentially one, or they could potentially both miss, but both of them aren't getting in. And then UC Davis and Sac State. That's interesting. I don't believe in UC Davis, and Sac though just has been so disappointing. I think this year, after beating Stanford, like they've just fallen off a cliff, kind of. What, Chad?
I just don't know who's really the standout in the Big Sky, right? Because it seems like every time a team should win, they don't. Like,
Say it's almost Montana at this point, but God knows
it's
what's going to
almost
happen
gotta be.
Saturday.
Right. It's just Idaho looked like those dudes, then they didn't. They lost that, yeah.
Kevin, that was a tongue-in-cheek comment about Drake. Come on. We know they're not good. It's just we beat another playoff team, okay?
I made a separate one on Twitter earlier, so that's probably why Kevin's throwing that barb in there.
Yeah.
Deb, I think Ray's more than allowed to cheer for Drake.
Yeah. If you went to school somewhere, you're always allowed to cheer for him.
Oh, shoot. Well, that's good. And then obviously the big one in Cedar Falls that we've been talking about for a couple weeks here, NDSU at UNI. And UNI completely laid an egg again, right when we all started to believe in them again. And they go to Missouri State and get boat raced. What the heck?
For as good as Theo Day was last year, has there been a QB that's been more Jekyll and Hyde this year?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before the show started.
I was just gonna say, to your point, like, how do you got to feel as a UNI fan? It's got to be like being a Vikings fan. They get your hopes up with something great and then just crush you last second. So,
oh, it just is awful. Yeah. Hey, this breakdown of this of this playoff nonsense is brought to you by Cubbies, and Cubbies is going to be the best place to watch all of these FCS games in the opening round. If you're not able to do it at your own home, head on down to Cubbies. They'll have the games on the screens down there. What a blast. This is one of, all this debate that we've had reminds me of why the FCS playoffs are so great. And all these games in the playoffs are fun to watch because you're learning about new programs, new players. At least I am usually. And that's also why Cubbies is great, because they're going to have this. They're going to have great selection of beer, great selection of food. So head on down to Cubbies to watch these games. Alex, you look like you had something to say.
Well, I was just going to say, I didn't know if Chad was going to go. I've talked over him twice now. I feel
bad. Yeah, you're good, bud.
But just to your point, I threw that FBS Washington game in there. There's people, FBS fans, that are against an expanded playoff because, it makes the regular season matter less. 7 of the 10 auto bids will not be decided till Saturday's games are over. You tell me the FCS regular season doesn't matter.
Yep. I know. Absolutely. Like, right. This is just so much more fun where FBS right now, the play, there's small playoff system. It's basically a lock that 4 of the teams, right? Unless
it's going to be 2 SEC schools, the Big 10 champ and the Big 12 or Pac-12 champ every year.
Yeah.
So, and that's how they want it, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only marginally better than what we had before.
Yeah. All right. 3 things before we get out of here. Tickets. You should have gotten an email today from Jackrabbit Ticket Office.
If you bought tickets this year.
Yeah, if you bought tickets this year, selling $10 tickets. Limited quantity, but we're going to sell this bad boy out. There's about 2,600 seats left, tickets left. I think is what Max's or the green dot thing said, right, Alex?
Yeah, there's about 2,600 left before I jumped on the show here because I didn't know if we were going to talk about that or not.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Take advantage of the cheap tickets. This is also a good deal because this allows them to lower the price a little bit for playoff tickets. So that's exciting. Senior Day. There's been comments on the side about Senior Day. We do not know at this point who's choosing to come back and who's not. We do have an article once we learn who it is. We have an article dropping this week, just kind of talking about each player a little bit. Josh Hoffman, who's been a guest blogger with us for a few different times, he's stepping up to do that. And we will let you know when we know who's actually coming back or at least making plans to come back and who's not. There's been a lot of good discussion on Twitter last week about that, especially on the offense and defensive lines. Is the cupboard going to be bare? The answer is no, it's not. But that's neither here nor there. And the third thing is Ben. Cap'n Jax on Twitter, infamous for the JIAI segment, is now outsourcing and creating a contest for you, the listeners, where you can submit your own JIAI artwork that will be featured on the show, and you'll be cheered or made fun of or booed or whatever you guys do to the people on that. So hopefully you guys are nicer to our listeners than you are to Ben.
We will be.
Well, to be fair, Ben deservedly got the heck he did for the first one.
Yeah.
And now it's just a running gag, as it always is with the team.
Yep. Hey, this is good too. So take 4 free tickets to military and active duty, also veterans and active duty. Awesome. Good job, SDSU. Oh yeah, it's the military appreciation game.
Yep, they've been doing that the last several ones. Normally we get my father-in-law. He was in the Air Guard. We get him to come along to this game every week, or sometimes it's cold and Beth stays at home and it's just he and I sitting together.
And it's not going to be cold. It's going to be 60 degrees.
58, yeah. It depends on where you're checking your weather. But now, if I remember correctly, is this a blue and yellow game?
Yes.
Okay,
this is wear what you need to game.
Wear anything Jacks, blue and yellow.
Yeah.
I had some questions on that on Twitter earlier today. So.
Yep. David Bender. Anyone know which side? I've seen this.
They won't announce that until they have the finalist teams.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange thing. So
yeah, and we're not going to announce it right now, folks, but we do have some exciting things that we're working on for Frisco if we're lucky enough and fortunate enough to make it again. So know that you're going to be taken care of down there. It's going to be fun. So if we make it, don't want to jinx us.
I think Jason's asking how he gets the military tickets. I'd say just call the ticket office.
Yeah.
1-888 go Jacks, right?
And then if you need the $10 tickets, if you don't have an email, just get a hold of one of us. One of us can probably snag you some $10 tickets.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a code thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Probably. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Probably get in trouble for putting that on air here, but DM me, I'll give it to you.
They want to fill the stadium for these guys. And so let's show up to appreciate this class. It's going to be awesome. So
Jim Poppin will put it in the comments.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else? Everyone can go refill their drink, get a snack, and then get back on. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, check out that show. It's going to be cool. Thank you guys for letting me be a much less handsome, much less insightful version of Dallas this week.
Hold on.
Now you added a lot. Thanks.
Jamal. I've been looking for you all show, buddy. Oh, man. Jamal, you were right. I estimated how good the Youngstown offense was. So sorry we're late. I did apologize for that later. But you were right, sir. That Youngstown offense our defense is just that damn good. So
yeah. What are we going to challenge the team with this week? I know Matt Zimmer brought that up in his both in his podcast and in the press conference.
Win the conference outright, right?
Yeah. We haven't won
100.
Can't score 50, maybe. I like it. Put something out there that's completely ridiculous. This team can't score 100 on anybody.
That's funny. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. All the comments. This has been fun tonight. Kind of a little more laid back. It's going to be great. So have fun. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks. All right. Ready? Go big, go blue, go Jack.
Go Jack.